The JuRY Daily Show is brought to you, as always, by PayJuryDaily.com. Oh, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the JuRY Daily Show. This is August 2nd, 2018. I join you a little earlier. We're not live, which is odd because we've been recording the show live. But the choice was either that I recorded this episode at the airport or I did it here without an audience. And so we're going to do it here. It's fine, though. Headed to Gen Con in a little bit to Indianapolis, Indiana. Always a great time. If you are in that area, then head on over to Escape Room Indie. Go to escaperoomindy.com for that address. We're like a block off of the convention center. It's our own little bootleg thing. We've done it for the last couple years. Big shout out to the Escape Room Indie folks. They are always intensely helpful, and they give us an opportunity to shill our cheap wares there. So we're going to have the Contender. Doesn't look like we're going to have Action News. That's a whole nother thing. Oh, my God. I mean, I guess in the personal segment here today. Oh, jeez. Oh, boy. Had a little bit of a problem. Well, having a little bit of a problem. Effectively, here's what happened. So we ran this Kickstarter. And we decided we're going to get everything done in China. So we did. And number one, it just takes forever in China because, you know, the language barrier is kind of an issue. So everything just takes forever. So it's taken forever. But now it was done. We had all of our stuff literally put on a slow boat from China, not to China. I mean, I guess it went back to China after it came to San Diego, but slow boat from China. Got to watch all that. Okay. And then you have to do something they call hiring a freight forwarder. A freight forwarder. They get it from San Diego to another place that then brings it to our fulfillment center. This is a warehouse where basically they just ship all shit all day, right? This is what they do. So, yesterday I get an email. Hey, none of this stuff has barcodes on it. Do you want us to barcode it? What? Can you show me what the fuck you're talking about? And so they do. And it is all the pieces to the game loose in a box. All right. So like, do you want us to barcode it? No, don't fucking barcode it. It looks like at least that one box that they showed me is not a completed game. It is rather a bunch of pieces that we would have to assemble into a game, which is very frustrating because we believe that we were getting, you know, the games. Games that were ready to go to our fulfillment center so they could be sending it out to everybody. I was hoping that we were going to have some for Gen Con. That is looking less and less likely by the second, unless I were to miraculously get an email today saying, whoopsie doodle, we opened the only box without a completed game in it, which I don't think is the truth. So I am currently simmering with rage. Hopefully this Gen Con trip can kind of calm me down a little bit. But you want to know what? Every once in a while you make enemies. Here's an interesting enemy, though, for somebody to make. Any little Uzi Vert fans in the house? Little Uzi Vert, probably the song that he is most known for would be, he was on the Migos Bad and Bougie hit. But he's releasing a new album. And he's made some interesting enemies. The Heaven's Gate cult. Do you all right, hands up or comment down below if you're watching this on YouTube. Do you remember the Heaven's Gate cult? If I just tell you the Heaven's Gate cult, do you know what I'm talking about? Because I don't know where on the, of course, Justin, everybody knows this shit to only 90s kids will remember the Heaven's Gate cult is. But this is Uzi Vert's new album cover, Eternal a Take. Problem is that it looks almost identical to the Heaven's Gate logo. It is almost assuredly a parody of it. And man, is the Heaven's Gate cult pissed. Or at least the two people left from the Heaven's Gate cult. Because the Heaven's Gate cult is not just known for being a cult, not just known for being a place where a bunch of people spent a bunch of money. No. The Heaven's Gate cult is known primarily because of a mass suicide. They believed that the Hale-Bopp comet was trailing behind it a spaceship, and they needed to kill themselves so they could ascend to the higher plane. Well, it looks as if they are a little annoyed here. This is an email statement to genius.com from the Heaven's Gate cult. He is using and adapting our copyrights and trademarks without our permission, and the infringement will be taken up with our attorneys. This is not fair use or parody. It is a direct and clear infringement. Heaven's Gate's rep told Genius. Now, by the way, it seems as if their rep is just kind of two members of the Heaven's Gate cult that I guess, I don't know, maybe they got the watered down Kool-Aid. Like they for whatever reason survived. I don't know why they survived. I don't know if they were late to the party. God, imagine that. Like, we've all been there. You know, all of a sudden you go, you're having one of those lonely Saturday nights. You just like, oh, I'll just go I'll go get takeout at the ramen place. You roll down to the ramen place, and the next thing you know, you see all your friends, quote unquote, having a great time on a Saturday night, and you're like, well, thanks for the invite, dicks. Imagine that, except it's your mass suicide, and you're like, all right, I'm running a little late. I'm sorry. I got stuck on the freeway. Crazy overturned tractor trailer. I'm going to be a little bit late to show up. Don't start without me. Don't start without me. I swear to God, if you guys start without me, I'm going to be so pissed off. Next thing you know, you show up and all you're seeing is the gleaming white of all the Nikes sticking out of the back of the bunk beds. Oh, I'd be so pissed. I'd be harassing little Uzi Vert. You want to know what? Now I'm on the side of the Hale-Bopp survivors. That's it. You want to know what? They deserve to be as annoyed. If they just showed up late, God forbid, maybe they were trying to do something nice. Hey, guys, I got us all Carl's Jr. Oh, you sons of bitches. Kind of a bold move, though, by Uzi Vert. You think that was his move? You think he was like, yo, man, do that Hale-Bopp shit? Or somebody just brought it to him and he's like, I don't know, kind of looks futuristic. And they're like, yeah, I invented it myself. I don't know which I'd find funnier. Probably if he just is finding out now that he is pissing off a cult. That's funnier. That might be the funniest scenario. All right. Let's go ahead and get to your mail. Of course, you can email me, jurydaily@gmail.com. Again, jurydaily@gmail.com. Cabby writes, every sojourn begins with the first step, and this one was mayo. I thought different. It's been said that when you assume your sandwich didn't have mayo, that's wrong. We draw conclusions on mayo that we should not, and that's a mistake I was making. I had to stop thinking of people as, he uses a word that I'm not going to repeat, but it is as stupid. I used to think of people as stupid because they do not know which condiment to use in a restaurant. People are not stupid because they drink red wine out of a white wine glass, and Mexicans are not only day laborers and house cleaners. Some are ask what you want on your sandwich. I asked James to order some tacos for me because I felt my Spanish, which I learned from my caretaker Miranda as a boy. Sour cream isn't mayonnaise. The moral of the story is fuck mayo. You're stupid if you love it. I think what Cabby's trying to get at here is somebody put mayonnaise in his taco. That's justifiable homicide for me. If I went to the Taco Bell and all of a sudden I was expecting in my Taco Supreme the cool, tangy taste of sour cream, and I got mayonnaise, I would murder somebody. I would physically strangle somebody to death. But that's just me. I'm an American. Kevin H. sent a screenshot of him pledging on Patreon. If you remember earlier this week, we said we would shame him because he promised to do it, but he had not done it yet. Well, now he proved it. Thank you, Kevin H., for being a man of your word. A promise keeper, if you were. Brett wrote, I'm totally cool with The Constant being number one on the 100 greatest television episodes list. Have you been able to figure out that I'm a little loopy this early in the morning? As I listened to you read the top 10, I expected Lost to get the nod somewhere in there. But I thought they were going to pick the pilot episode. The pilot is pretty much a 2-hour movie made for TV, and they threw everything they had into that episode to make the network give it the green light. The Constant is probably my favorite episode of television ever, but it's definitely more of a deep cut than a mainstream hit. They'd lost nearly 10 million viewers from the earlier seasons by that point, and a mainstream outlet may have picked a more recognizable episode. Say what you want about their finales, but Lost, Battlestar Galactica were some of the first TV shows that turned the tide in TV quality. A decade earlier, something like Game of Thrones would have been shoehorned into being blockbuster films. Yeah, you're right. Although I would... Lost changed the game in kind of incalculable ways. Battlestar Galactica, I think, did similar to legitimize kind of we're on a spaceship science fiction. Because, I mean, at that point, Battlestar Galactica is really contemporary to, like, Enterprise and shit like that, where there was a thought that, like, if you're on a spaceship, A, you have to talk to crazy aliens, and B, like, fucking nobody cares how good the writing is. These nerds will eat anything. I don't know why. That's how I always imagine television executives are whenever they just continue to shovel dog shit genre programming down our faces. It's why I hate. I get it. Some people really like some show. I don't even want to name the shows because I'll get people all up in my face about it. But like, they'll like these sci-fi shows, and I'm like, they're garbage. Stop eating garbage. If you keep eating garbage, they will keep serving us garbage. Let's point to Battlestar Galactica. Every time that we get a garbage science fiction show, just point to Battlestar and say, no. Like, I feel like getting good science fiction television is kind of like ordering at a restaurant in a foreign country. Like, it doesn't matter. If they keep bringing something out, like, just don't eat it. Be like, no. No. I want steak. Like, you go to your phone, go to Google Translate, right? Steak. They keep bringing you ham. They keep bringing you fish. They keep bringing you some chicken that got ran over in the parking lot. No. Steak. I want steak. Be polite, but don't back down on what you want. Lost certainly did that, although Lost was more of a character study that had science fiction dressing kind of drizzled on it. But there's no doubt, Lost was a game changer for so many reasons. Up to and including the legacy of like dog shit Lost clones that came out. I feel like that's a magazine piece at some point. Gibson writes, keeping up with the Kardashians and Jersey Shore may be entertaining, but I have to disagree on the placement on this list. It's my personal opinion that these shows lack the level of production quality, character writing, and intrigue that shows like Breaking Bad, Mad Men, The Wire have. The weirdest part about them is the whole shtick about how these situations are supposedly real and all, but the people involved feel so much faker than the characters in stuff like Game of Thrones, or even something animated like the How to Train Your Dragon movies. Fantasy shows and movies where everything should be fake, but doesn't, in contrast to the real show that feels about as real as a $5 spray tan. So here's Gibson. Let me. Gibson was a YouTube comment, by the way, so I read YouTube comments. Let me posit this to you, Gibson. Weigh what people enjoy about it. Because I agree with you on a lot of what you're saying. But focus not on why it's not as good as the things that you like. And instead try to understand why they're so popular. And don't cop out and be like, because people are stupid. Yes and no, but stupid people like Breaking Bad too. Why did people resonate with those shows? And then understand that whatever people resonated with those shows is non-existent in these prestige television programs. And then once you've identified that, then say, okay, well, that's why it ranks high on a list. How do we judge it, right? And I do believe that there's a worth to these programs. I've enjoyed watching these programs. Not all of them, but some of them. I really like Jersey Shore. I think Jersey Shore was something that really was kind of indicative of the culture that we were going to come in. Reality television in general, probably. We are in an ever-connected world. And part of that has meant our celebrities, the biggest celebrities, aren't hero worship as much anymore. Now we kind of need to think we're better than our celebrities because we see so much of them. To me, it's the reason why Taylor Swift and Drake are like the biggest artists, because you kind of think they're shitheads. Like you can dig the biggest star in the world is a shithead for whom makes a catchy tune, right? I think I just explained Tekashi 6ix9ine to myself. Ladies and gentlemen, that brings us to the end of a week's worth of JuRY Daily. Thank you guys so much for joining us. Tell you what, we just had our first month of Patreon, so we begin next week shouting out our producers. Thank you to everybody who is backed at that level. Folks, if you want to email me, jurydaily@gmail.com, or leave a comment right there on the YouTube. By the way, subscribe, y'all, to the YouTube. YouTube.com/JustinRobertYoung. Smash that subscribe button, dog, and ring that bell. Twitter, Instagram, Snapchat @JustinRYoung. I'll be at Gen Con this weekend. Folks, this is your old pal, Justin Robert Young. Until next week, recommending that you please don't.
Diamond Club hopes you have enjoyed this program.